Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, the latest in the event series brought to you by FOCUS Enviro. FOCUS, as you know, is Australia's exclusive distributor for UNTHA shredding technology. So today we're joined once again by Gary Moore from UNTHA, who's here to talk to you about the innovations in mattress recycling. Specifically today, we're going to look at how it's possible to process more than 200 mattresses per hour and achieve a 100% material recovery rate. Those of you who've tuned in before will know that my name's Katie and I'm your host for today. And for the first time guests, it's important to tell you that Gary and I are presenting to you from the UK, where it's 1 AM, so please be kind to us. As always, we've a lot to cover today in the next 45 minutes or so. So I'll just tell you quickly what we're going to be exploring in this session. We're going to be looking at the scale of the Global Mattress Recycling Challenge, how to shred that mattress in less than 30 seconds, designing a sophisticated mattress processing line for 100% recovery rates, the role of mattresses in the alternative fuel production sector specifically, and obviously the environmental benefits of smarter end-of-life mattress handling. We also have a couple of videos for you. They're embedded throughout the slides today, so you can see some mattress shredding in action. You won't be able to hear any of the audio on these, but if you would like to watch a copy of the videos in your own time, they will be included in the presentation slides when the event is over, and you will receive those in about 24 hours time. We're also going to attempt to play you the video with Gary giving you a little bit of audio narrative over the top, which may affect the buffering speed for some of you. So if the signal does scramble at all, we do apologise in advance. It should only last for about 10 or 15 seconds. So just bear with us and hopefully everything will work out okay. Finally, you should be able to see a chat box either in the left-hand side or the right-hand side of your screen. So if you've got any questions throughout today's event at all, large or small, vague or specific, please type those questions into the chat box. And then when we get to the end of the slides, we'll try our best to answer as many of those questions as possible. If you want to email the questions to Gary once the event is over, we'll also give you his email address so that you can carry on the conversation with Gary or FOCUS that way. That is the only housekeeping from me. Like I said, we've a lot to get through, so if it's okay with everyone else, I'm going to get started, and I'll hand you over to today's speaker, Gary Moore.
Katie, as usual, thank you very much for that excellent introduction, very much appreciated. So, as we're presenting on a truly global stage, let me open by saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Gary Moore. And as you can see from the slide, I have gained some considerable experience in delivering the correct shredding technology and solutions to suit customers' many applications. The majority of these for alternative fuels and waste recovery markets. With extensive knowledge of UNTHA's world-leading shredding technology, I am responsible for new business development and key account management, in which I proactively seek out fresh project opportunities, especially within the alternative fuels, waste, metals, and plastic market sectors. I work alongside senior waste and recycling decision makers to devise shredding solutions that will achieve their business objectives. I have over 25 years global shredding experience and joined UNTHA in 2015 and have director level role across Europe, Australasia, and the USA, with my own base being the UK as sales director. I have responsibility for strategic growth and development of the Australian market for the waste and recycling product range and the USA for the waste range. So, working alongside our Australian sole distributor, FOCUS Enviro, we continue to penetrate the alternative fuels market for UNTHA's revolutionary XR static and mobile shredder, designing and supplying best fit, client-centric shredding solutions for a wide range of UNTHA potential and existing clients. Since the company was founded in 1970, UNTHA has been fulfilling its promise to be the reliable brand, meaning that we do everything we can to be more reliable than other providers. This applies to all UNTHA products and services. For our customers, this means that choosing an UNTHA system was the best decision they could make. And some key facts are 10,000 and growing daily successfully implemented shredding solutions, 80% in-house production made in Austria, 4 subsidiaries and sales in over 40 countries, 64 service and sales partners worldwide, thousands of individually tailored adaptations to suit customer requirements, 300 highly qualified employees worldwide, and 50 years of know-how and experience. And that's 50 years of shredding excellence. And we've just last year completed our 50 years anniversary. So we've caused quite a stir in the UK when it comes to processing mattresses. And we think with the help from FOCUS, we can transform opportunities for operators and in mattresses here in Australia too. To give you a flavour of why, and to highlight exactly what we're here to talk to you about today, we'd like you to watch this 40-second video. It won't play sound as Katie advised, but you'll be able to watch it again with the music when you get your own copy of the slides later, so enjoy. So if we drill down into the topic of mattresses in a little more detail, we learn that of the 67 million tonnes of waste produced in Australia every year, you are currently disposing of 1.8 million mattresses, and that's how many reach a landfill site. That doesn't take into account any that are fly tipped or unscrupulously disposed of. In the UK, the problem is even larger, with 7.5 million mattresses being landfilled per annum, which costs the UK over 20 million or an estimated 37 million Australian dollars. In the USA, the number of mattresses being discarded every year is close to a staggering 20 million units. So, why are mattresses such a notorious and mounting waste challenge? There are many reasons, but primarily because they are really quite tricky to store, handle, and recycle. They contain many different composite materials that, without sophisticated processing, are locked inside this problematic waste stream. For decades, companies have considered that there's no quick fix when it comes to processing mattresses. However, turning a blind eye to this issue cannot continue. Disposal costs are mounting, landfill space is running out, illegal dumping is sadly on the rise in many countries, and environmental pressures are growing. However, because of the headaches associated with their size and makeup and the cost traditionally associated with shredding mattresses, many operators consider them economically unshreddable. But this couldn't be further from the truth. As we can see on the slide, over 80% of mattresses can be recycled into new consumer and industrial products. 100% of the mattress can be recovered and diverted from landfill. And by investing in machinery engineered specifically to handle this application, mattress recycling can soon become a revenue generating operation. The environmental sector continues to grow, creating jobs at a time when many employment markets lay in crisis. So to be clear, there are lots of valuable resources within a mattress, and it's possible to get your hands on all of these. Unlocking those valuable resources, such as metals, this can be sent to scrap recyclers before being smelted for remanufacturing. The foam can be broken down and transformed into carpet underlay or animal bedding. Textiles and fibres can be salvaged for reuse in oil filters, used as a flock within the energy recovery markets, which are reducing our reliance on depleting fossil fuels. And of course, wood can be shredded to produce landscaping mulch or a valuable biomass resource. So exactly how can we address this recycling challenge? To bring this topic to life, I'd like to shine the spotlight on a project I've been involved with over in the UK. TexTech Limited is a company owned by JPE Holdings Limited that have more than 30 years experience of recycling technology and knowledge and are revolutionising mattress and bulky waste recycling. TexTech are based in Whitchurch, Shropshire in the UK. They're a recycling company whose aim is to divert as many mattresses from landfill as possible. TexTech are working hard to convince as many companies as possible to recycle their unwanted waste rather than send to landfill. They already work with local authorities across the Midlands and many retail outlets to improve the recycling rates of mattresses, sofas, and other bulky waste across the UK. TexTech have invested 18 months into the research and development of the first bespoke mattress and bulky waste shredding line that will divert a staggering 1 million mattresses a year from landfill. The UNTHA XR3000 HT shredding system design enables the successful separation of the flock from the steel, ensuring 100% of mattresses, sofas, or other types of bulky waste products can be recycled. And if we delve behind the scenes of their UK operation, we find that we have a challenge. Retailers and local authorities face two big challenges when recycling and recovering mattresses and bulky waste. The first is the separation aspect. The second is finding feasible end markets for the many complex materials to be recycled. Traditionally, manual separation has been the only effective way to strip a mattress, but this comes with many risks. It's time consuming and expensive. Bulky mattress waste is notoriously difficult to recycle. Separating the multiple elements is time consuming, requiring highly physical and potentially dangerous working practices. Pocket spring-based mattresses and sprung mattresses in particular offer specific challenges as they contain between 1,000 and 10,000 single springs, each wrapped inside a textile-based polypropylene.
Sorry everyone, we do just seem to be experiencing an issue with Gary's sound. Hopefully he will come back in the next few minutes. Apologies.
Investigating the use of innovative technology to make the process easier. The result is the UNTHA XR3000 HT custom-made recycling line. Next screen, please, Katie. So our feedstock material is typically as indicated on the slide. This includes all types and sizes of mattresses, singles and up to super singles, box springs, sprung and memory foam. And the better the quality, the more difficult to process. And these can be bone dry or soaking wet. And to the shredding solution, we use the XR3000 CHT single shaft shredding system specifically for this application. The system is equipped with 232 kilowatt eco-synchronous drives, 50 mm standard screen for maximum liberation and separation of the FE and the flock, very low operating speeds. Low speed benefit provides low noise, low dust, low heat generation, low operation and maintenance costs. And to continue with the shredding solution, we have application-specific oversized feed hopper for very large aperture for very large bulky product processing, aggressive cutters that grab, shear and fragment material while processing, and these are individually replaceable. Hardox rotor hard facing for wear resistant and long life rotor operation. quick change screen systems that can typically enable product sizing changes in 30 to 40 minutes. RAM assist to ensure that the machine operates at peak performance by providing positive force on the rotor at the appropriate time. Rubber tracks for high performance on screedy floor surfaces, and vibration absorption. Auto lube, fill it up and forget it. Computer control to ensure indication when low and stops machine operating if below specific charge levels. And the ease of operation. The system can be fed by several proprietary options: grab, front end loader, conveyor. And we have high performance, durable transom style conveyor belt discharge, which allows for 1 or 2 machine operation. We have inline magnetic separation. Multiple magnets improve the purity of the commodity. We have air boxes for the removal of the light fraction and enhances that commodity purity. As indicated, over 200 mattresses and up to 288 for 2 machines in a single line. And we have the ability for flexible operating hours, but typically these systems are operating for 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. So we now have a YouTube video, and I'm going to talk through this a little bit as Katie starts the video for us. You can pretty much see this is the machine that's installed at TechSec. They have 2 of these XR3000Cs installed to produce that magic figure of 288 mattresses per hour. So you can see the machine there taking the old mattress in, and the rotor doing its job in terms of shredding, grabbing the products and then passing it through the screen. And the left-hand section, the grey section that you can just see moving, that's the RAM assist, which continues to give that very positive action on the rotor. And as we load the machine up, we'll make sure that that mattress is continued to be pressed on the rotor for maximum performance. You can see there, rather than a sprung mattress going in, we have a box spring mattress going in there as well. And quite unusually, the box springs, are a lot more difficult due to their FE content rather than the whole mattress. Again, we can see an old mattress just about to be dropped into the shredder in feed there. And over the back, you can see machine number 2. So typically the grab driver will swing around to the left, feed one, swing around to the right, feed another, and he keeps that optimum process up all the time. Katie, if you can just push forward on the video a touch, please. And this section here, you can see this is the shredded material that's coming up the discharge conveyor. It's now passing underneath the first inline magnet, and just below that, the flock will drop out. The ferrous metal will continue downstream. And you can see on that conveyor there, it's now following the conveyor down to the final discharge conveyor, and you can see the clean ferrous dropping there into that fairly large pile. So very clean ferrous product. So the guys are getting a premium price on this material. And basically you'll get to enjoy that video a lot more when Katie shares the slides with you later on. So onto the concept layout for the single line. You can see there that this isometric diagram shows a single line system consisting of the XR3000 HT single shaft shredder. We have a transom style discharge conveyor, one piece horizontal to incline. This takes the material up into the inline magnet with a full access work platform. And then we follow downstream to the airbox system with additional inline magnets, which give that secondary separation and cleanliness of the material. So what is the system capable of? Well, it's a fully automated recycling line. It can mechanically break down a mattress in as little as 25 seconds versus the 7 minutes that it takes to manually disassemble a mattress. It will shred to minus 50 mil or 2 inches to liberate that steel from the flock. And there's around 20 to 25,000 tons of steel wire that we can use and be remanufactured per year from this process. The downstream equipment will separate the clean flock from the contaminated material and the latter is reshredded for a 100% recycling rate. The clean flock produces a very high calorific value, and this is mixed with SRF or PEF, as we call it in Australia, and that produces that very premium alternative fuel. And we are currently diverting around 1 million mattresses per year from landfill at this facility. So Martin Price, one of the directors at TexTech, has spoke very highly, and a great testimonial on screen from Martin. They really put the UNTHA XR through its paces during a rigorous trial before they invested in the technology. And theirs was a thorough due diligence process, but we did know the machine was fit for the job. And pretty much the innovation continues in so much that you know, they've been really impressed with how UNTHA has transformed their business, and they're now keen to push more and more boundaries. And these are the numbers that are being achieved. So you can see there, the single line produces 144 mattresses per hour, and the two machines that they're running in conjunction with each other will produce the 288 per hour that definitely suits their business. The weights of those mattresses are very, very varied, from a very cheap quality single mattress which weighs 18 kilo up to a very high quality textile mattress which is weighing as much as 82 kilos. And these are the figures that are being achieved. So typically over this side of the pond, the gate fee per mattress is £10 per mattress that the guys at TexTech are charging. When they separate the flock and we have the clean FE, with one magnet installed, they were achieving £200 a ton for the ferrous. When they put another magnet in there, they then knocked that up to £222 a ton. So the FE was a little bit better quality from the second magnet. And then they really did discover they can really maximise and push the price up of that ferrous yield commodity by adding a third magnet. So there are various install options based upon the individual economics. And typically by FE weight of a mattress, content is around about 90% of ferrous. And as you can see from this slide, you know, this is not just a mattress shredder, although we are specifically talking about mattresses. But for you guys out there that are looking for the flexibility in the machinery that you're looking to purchase, the UNTHA XR series of machines are commonly employed in volume reduction, pre-shredding and size-specific applications with a wide range of commingled materials, which include, you know, unsorted bulky waste. It's ideal for primary liberation of materials. And basically, you know, we can rough shred or we can single shred, we can single step shred with this machine. And the recovery process so that non-shreddables or marketable commodities can be removed prior to further processing. I think I've had a couple of dropouts from here, and I do apologise for that. It's a bit of a pain. But really, I want to thank you for listening to the webinar. I hope it's not been too distracting. I suppose it's it might be the mileage involved that's causing some of these dropouts, but hopefully when you get the slides and you can listen back to it, everything will make sense. But if you've got any questions, I would be pleased to answer them.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you everyone for joining in today. We've got a lot of registrations this morning, big numbers, and a few questions coming through, Gary. So I'll try and ask you those over the next few minutes or so. This is a question that we commonly get asked when we look at the XR technology in our webinars, and it's quite simply mobile versus static. What are the factors that influence the decision that a customer would make?
Yeah, typically, you know, when we have the difference between mobile and static, we normally say that if you've got you know, an isolated clearance area that you need to take the machine to the waste product, then a mobile would work very well for you. or if you need to shred, different materials from one end of your facility to the other one, the mobile will enable you to get from one end to the other end. Again, the mobile shredder is used, extensively for, a lot of wide varied range shredding applications. When we tend to use the static systems, as you can see with Textect, this is a facility where they're allowing the material to be brought to their door. It's a facility that's undercover. Probably the working environment is a little better than the machine working outside. That's not to say that the mobile machine cannot work only outside. It can obviously be electrically driven with no diesel fumes or anything. We can run that machine in the building as well. But I think it really boils down to customer preference.
Thank you, Gary. We've got another question here. We have obviously delivered other XR webinars, and the delegate here today has seen our tyres webinar. They've asked if we could talk through some of the other bulky applications that the XR is being used for worldwide.
So pretty much the full, when we start to look at bulky waste and using the XR for bulky waste volume reduction, large furniture, wardrobes, sofas, this type of product, tyres, car tyres, truck tyres, agricultural tyres, other large bulky items that may include large items of wood, green waste, maybe tree stumps or things like that. So anything really that is really large and oversized. I mean, we have a very large feeding aperture on this machine. And unlike many of our competitors, this is a true 3-meter long cutting chamber, with the RAM assist. So that's the benefit of what the XR3000 brings to processing bulky waste.
That's actually prompted a question from one of our guests today to say, can the same machine then be used for woody, green waste and timber, pallets and construction and demo waste as well? Would the XR be the machine for that job?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got the XR series of machines is very, very flexible. So we've got a very quick change out screen system, which is hydraulically ejected. You open the doors up, take the screen out, put another screen in. So, if you're changing from tyres to wood waste to green waste, you've got a variable range of screen sizes that you can use. The machine is actually is inverter driven as well, so we can slow or speed that machine up on a range of programmable selectors that we can put on the HMI, which is on the machine. So yeah, very, very flexible for a wide range of different applications.
Thank you. Someone has asked, do the mattresses have to be dry? How will the process be affected if they've been out in the weather?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much as we said during the webinar, the mattresses can be bone dry if they have been stored inside, or they can be soaking wet. Obviously, a soaking wet mattress, is tougher to shred. So the drawbacks of shredding very wet, sodden mattresses are that you are going to lose a bit of throughput. It's not going to affect separation, but you will lose a little bit of throughput.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Someone here has asked specifically about the market for the foam. So you talked about the foam being used for carpet underlay, for example, and they've asked if the foam is all chopped up, how sellable is that foam?
Yeah, we actually have a couple of major companies in the UK. One of them is a company called Interfloor. So what they actually do with all the foam, and we have Vitafoam over here as well. But if you was only processing memory foam mattresses, we would shred that down to a suitable size that they would then run in our systems. What they tend to use from the pre-shredded foam material is they would run that through a granulation machine, and the granulation machine would normally take it down to a particle size of about 5 to 10 mil. They add a special adhesive with it. They then re-extrude the material, and then that produces a carpet underfloor product.
Thank you, Gary. We've got a few more questions to get through, so just a mention to others, if anyone else wants to ask any questions, please use the chat box. Could you talk to us about maintenance, Gary? How easy are these machines to maintain using in-house engineering resource?
Yeah, very, very straightforward. I mean, what we've tried to do and we continually develop over the years at UNTHA is we make these machines as maintenance friendly and free as possible. Um, every part of the equipment is very easy to access. So, you know, that maintenance engineer can very quickly and very easily access all the component and parts that he needs to. If we take the screens, you know, the screens are actually they're built up of 4 sections, so you can either remove the old screen, or if you didn't have the heavier lifting equipment about to take the old screen out, you can unbolt and take the individual screen sections out with a forklift. Very easy, hydraulically removed. You go around the other side, you open the access door, and that presents you to the moving cutters and the static cutters. Again, these are very accessible. The cutters are reusable and re-indexable up to 4 times. They're held in by a single bolt, so very easy to take a cutter out and replace the cutter. And again, the statics are they are indexable 4 times to match the cutter as well. So yeah, we've put a lot of emphasis on making sure this is a really maintenance friendly machine.
Thank you, Gary. Someone has asked if we are talking about products with timber elements. So if there were timber elements in the mattress space, for example, is it possible to separate wood chips from the rest of the clean flock, assuming that you want to be able to use the chipped wood separately?
It becomes a little bit difficult because, as you can imagine, if you're shredding the mattress base, which is typically contains, you know, the divan section, which is textile and wood. You know, wood and textile material doesn't mix very well, so it will snag up on each other. Although we're continuing to separate and remove the ferrous content, the wood and the flock will typically stay together. Now, if you're using that flock material for an alternative fuel, such as PEF, SRF or RDF, that's not a problem because the wood in the flock is, you know, is combustible, so it's still a very, you know, it will still produce a very high grade fuel. But if you was trying to chase that wood as separating it from the flock, that would be quite problematic, I think.
Okay, thank you. Someone has asked if you also manufacture smaller machines should you need to run another recycling line in conjunction with this mattress process that you've described today.
Yes, we actually, if you look on the website, we manufacture a range of not only in the XR range, we have, which are all single shaft shredders. You know, these are available in 3 different variants. So we have the RC, the C, and the XC. Guys, that all that information is there on the website. They produce different size products and they also process different material. We also have our RS 4-shaft range, and we were way back 50 years ago, we did invent the 4-shaft shredder. So we also have a range of what we call the RS series, which are our 4-shaft range of machines as well.
Thank you. A lady has asked to go back to the conversation about the foam going to be used in carpet underlays, for example. What about the textile percentage within the flock? Is there a maximum percentage of textile that is acceptable within the mix?
If the product is purely going for carpet underlay, no, what you would have to do is you would have to separate prior to shredding or pre-shredding, you would separate out your memory foam mattresses from your pocket springs and your sprung mattresses, because the carpet underlay companies, all they want is the foam. They won't accept any flock or textile in that material.
Thank you. Someone has asked here, remote diagnostics, can you or FOCUS assist in the event of any maintenance queries, breakdowns, and so on?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, not only do you guys over in Australia, you're very fortunate that you've got a very um, skilled team of people at FOCUS Enviro, Robbie, Ryan, John, and the team there. The guys are all factory trained. They understand the equipment very well. They have ongoing on a yearly basis. Obviously, this year with the COVID situation has been a little bit difficult with the travelling, but we do have Teams meetings and we share webinars together on specific applications and serviceability of the equipment. So yeah, the FOCUS Enviro guys on the you know, basically supporting you locally, have got you covered there. But also how we support FOCUS and you as our end client, our end customer, is that the machines are all supplied with a remote diagnostic system, which we call Genius. And Genius is that analytical diagnostic where we can dial into the machine, we can analyze how the machine is operating, we can make program changes remotely. So, you know, whether we do it remotely via Genius to access your machine to solve an issue, or to troubleshoot, or to fine tune for additional performance, we can do that. But obviously, the guys at FOCUS can, you know, can do that for you as well.
Thank you, Gary. Someone has asked, does it follow that the countries that typically produce the most amount of mattress waste, the most number of end-of-life mattresses, do they tend to be ahead of the game when it comes to mattress recycling? So how do the trends fare from country to country?
You'd like to think so, but I think there is, you know, there's just a vast difference from country to country how we process and handle our waste, and also how the different legislative drivers take us to different routes on how we recycle. So, you know, within Europe, we've had a sort of no landfill or a ban from landfill policy for several years now. So we're very experienced in not sending material to landfill, and working towards a true circular, sustainable waste economy. So we understand about separation and reuse of that potential material. Slightly different in places like in America, where they have very large areas of land mass, where landfilling is still not frowned upon, where landfill is still very cheap. So really, in America, they need legislation to drive the landfill cost up to ensure that recycling becomes a lot more economically viable. I don't quite see that in Australia. I think you're a little bit ahead of the game in Australia again. That you've got definitely, you know, companies over there that are very proactive in ensuring you're doing the right thing with your waste, and you know, benefiting from the commodity that you can recover, you know, from that potential waste products.
Thank you, Gary. Just two questions left, unless anyone has anything else they'd like to ask. Electronic waste and cables and so on, is this the machine for the job, or would you recommend something else for that type of application?
No, again, you know, the flexibility on the XR machine is this machine will do the job. Slightly different configuration. We still use the C version, but what we would do with that is we would probably drop a knife row out. So we use 2 knife rows rather than 3 knife rows. And basically, you know, what we would do there is we can process the full range of SDAs, you know, e-scrap, and take it down to a size that liberates, separates, and allows you to recover the commodity.
Thank you. And this was one of the questions asked at the start of this Q&A session, but I've left it till the end because I think it wraps us up nicely. One of the guests has thanked you for the session today and asked who they contact to find out more information regarding application-specific queries, availability, location, trials, and so on.
By all means, guys, you know, FOCUS Enviro are your local go-to company. You've got Robbie and Ryan and also John over at FOCUS Enviro. I'm sure that everybody on the webinar will be sent details, not only of the slides so that you can look at those, but they will have. We will send you over everybody that's signed up. We'll get Robbie and Ryan's and John's email address details, so you can very easily in your own time zone make contact. But again, you know, you've got my email, guys. Any specific questions, yeah, feel free to ask.
Thank you ever so much, Gary. We had a 100% engagement rate throughout, and people have stayed until the end. So thank you everyone for tuning in and staying tuned. Like Gary said, if you've got any further questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You will receive a copy of these slides and all of the other materials in about 24 hours. But other than that, thank you ever so much. Gary, I'll let you have the final words and I'll close this morning's event.
Excellent. Again, thank you very much, Katie, for hosting the event. You know, very pleased. And everyone out there in Australia, you know, have a great day. Really, really enjoyed talking to you. Happy to answer any questions, as I've said before. So, yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm now going to retire for the evening, probably wake up tomorrow lunchtime. But thank you very much, everyone. Much appreciated.
Thank you.